The once mighty Almohad Empire was crumbling. What had once been a vast and powerful realm spanning modern-day Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Mauritania, and large parts of Spain was now a collection of divided territories, torn apart by internal strife and external threats. And in the midst of this chaos, one ruler emerged, Abu al-Hasan as-Sa'id al-Mutadid. His reign was not one of conquest or expansion, but of desperate survival. He inherited a broken empire, one where Almohad authority was no longer respected, where Christian forces in Iberia and rival Muslim dynasties in North Africa sought to erase Almohad rule forever. Would he be the leader who could reunite his fractured empire, or was he merely the last remnant of a dying dynasty? This is his story. A throne in crisis. When Abu al-Hasan as-Sa'id al-Mutadid took power in 1232, the Almohads were already in decline. The great cities of Seville, Córdoba, and Marrakech were no longer safe havens of Almohad rule, but battlegrounds where enemies pressed in. The Reconquista was in full force, and Christian rulers like Ferdinand III of Castile and James III of Aragon sought to claim what was left of Al-Andalus. Meanwhile, in North Africa, the once loyal provinces of Tlemcen, Tunis, and Fez were slipping from Almohad control. The Zionids in Algeria, the Hafsids in Tunisia, and the Marinids in Morocco had all declared their independence, carving their own kingdoms out of what had been a unified Almohad state. Abu al-Hasan as-Sa'id was left with a crumbling core of power in Marrakech, struggling to assert his rule over a rebellious nobility and an empire in freefall. The fall of Al-Andalus. As the Almohad grip on Iberia weakened, the Christian kingdoms seized the opportunity. In 1236, the mighty city of Córdoba, once the capital of the Caliphate of Al-Andalus, fell to Ferdinand III of Castile. The city that had symbolized Islamic power in Iberia for over 500 years was lost, a crushing blow to Muslim morale. By 1240, the forces of James Lest of Aragon captured Valencia, another key stronghold. Across Al-Andalus, smaller Muslim rulers known as taifas abandoned the Almohads, preferring to make peace with the Christians rather than fight for a failing empire. Abu al-Hasan as-Sa'id could do nothing. His armies were overstretched, his treasury was empty, and his allies were turning against him. The loss of these major cities marked the irreversible decline of Almohad influence in Iberia. The end was near. Betrayal and revolt. The rise of the Marinids. The biggest threat to Abu al-Hasan as-Sa'id did not come from Iberia, but from Morocco itself. The Marinid dynasty, a powerful Berber force, had been growing in strength for decades. They saw the weakness of the Almohads and knew that their time had come. By 1240, the Marinids launched an open rebellion. Their leader, Abu Yahya ibn Abd al-Haq, challenged Almohad rule directly, defeating the remnants of the Almohad army and taking key cities in northern Morocco. The people of Fez, tired of Almohad misrule, welcomed the Marinids as liberators. Even former Almohad commanders began switching sides, sensing that the empire's days were numbered. Abu al-Hasan as-Sa'id was trapped. With the Christians advancing in Spain and the Marinids conquering Morocco, he had nowhere to turn. His desperate pleas for unity fell on deaf ears. The once loyal noble families abandoned him, and his authority crumbled. The final years. A ghost of an empire. By 1242, Abu al-Hasan as-Sa'id was no longer a ruler but a prisoner of circumstances. His control barely extended beyond Marrakech, the last true Almohad stronghold. The great empire of his ancestors had been shattered into pieces, and he could do nothing but watch. In the end, his reign ended not with a glorious battle, but with quiet irrelevance. The Marinids continued their rise, the Hafsids secured their rule in Tunisia, and the Zionids controlled Algeria. The Almohad name, once feared across North Africa and Spain, was now little more than a memory. Abu al-Hasan as Sayyid al-Mutadid's death marked the beginning of the final collapse of the Almohad dynasty. Just 2 decades later, Marrakech would fall to the Marinids, officially ending one of the greatest empires in Islamic history. Conclusion: the end of an era. Abu al-Hasan as Sayyid al-Mutadid was not a great conqueror nor a legendary leader. He was a man who inherited an empire already in ruins and fought a battle he could never win. His reign was the final chapter in the Almohad story, a tragic end to what was once one of the most powerful dynasties in the medieval world. But history is never truly over. The rise of the Marinids, the Hafsids, and the Zionids would shape North Africa for centuries to come, and the fall of the Almohads would set the stage for the final battles of the Reconquista. Was the fall of the Almohads inevitable, or could they have been saved? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an epic story from history.